Help me, just like, I'm trying to pull up the YouTube chat here. What do you mean my disk is almost full? I've cleared out so much shit on my computer. There's like nothing left on here. I am not even kidding. This is bullshit. Okay, let's pull up the YouTube chat now. Help me, I'm dying. We love a shower queen. Yeah, I know. It's like, okay. A lot of people like to ride my ass about like, oh, you can tell she's trans because she like plays with her hair a lot. But okay, my hair is naturally super, super curly. And I like to straighten it. So whenever I wash it, I've got to rinse it with cold water so my split ends don't look insane. And then as it's drying, I have to like brush it dry basically. So it's not like super, super fluffy. Because like you can straighten hair, but if it's fluffy when you straighten it, it will remain fluffy. So you basically need to like try to dry it as flat as possible. Why did I waste my spin on Jacqueline? I don't know. Why did you waste your spin on Jacqueline? So I feel kind of bad for like not live streaming in forever. But okay. There has been so much crazy shit going on. Number one is I got a job. So it's been... Filming videos is one thing, but it's like trying to fit in live streams as well. Like on top of that is still like... crazy. Still trying to like... get it together. I'm still trying to figure out, because like I started at the beginning of August, so I've been trying to like sort of figure out like a formula that works, if that makes sense, in terms of how to balance filming, because like I don't know how to say it. My hours aren't the same from week to week, so, and it's part-time, but I work full shifts, so I don't necessarily work every day, but I can still work 8 hours a day. Oh, why can't I breathe? But it's like a... So I've been trying to find out, like, what time would be best, because now that school's back in session for a lot of people, especially, I can't just live stream in the middle of the day anymore without excluding a whole bunch of people. I work at a liquor store, which is actually, that is so on brand. My alcoholic ass working at a liquor store. I can see the YouTube chat. I have it pulled up in, like, a separate window. So, like... YouNow on the left and YouTube is on the right. So I can see your chat, peeps. Let's like, oh, sorry for, do you like that close up on my hairbrush? Let's like try to put my camera back in place. Okay. So I'm just like, no, my hair's such a pain in the ass, but I kind of have to do it. So I'm not a fluffy, skinny legend, more like fluffy legend. Hairbrush POV when? Oh my God. I didn't even try to get a job this summer because I was abroad for all of July. I was like, okay, this summer was insane. It's like, okay, you would think that once you're out of school, you'll have so much more time to like devote to videos and shit. Nope. Okay, so literally, I'm just trying to think here. So I want to say from like May to the beginning of June was grad hell. If that makes sense. In Canada, we don't have prom. We have a grad, but it's the same thing, you know, fancy dresses, throwing caps in the air, shit like that. So we have like, it's the whole big thing. So that was spent preparing for grad, sorting out my dress, shit like that. Final exams, getting ready for finals. Yeah, no, lots of people can hear me perfectly apparently, so that's on you. But it's like so I was tied up with that for most of June and May. And then in, how do I say it? So June 28th, or no, it was June 20th. or June 17th was my 18th birthday, so that weekend was a mess. So it was like, okay, my birthday was on a Sunday. On the Wednesday, I had my last final exam in the morning. So I walked to school, because my school's like by my house. So I walked to school, write this final exam, go home, pack up my suitcase, and get ready to go to the airport, and then drive to the airport at 2 o'clock because I have a flight to LAX. So I get to LA at like midnight, and then I was in LA for like 8 days. But it was just so crazy. Like, I was sitting there just like writing this final exam, and I'm like, I've got a plane to catch after this. Oh, like a quick jaunt to Santa Monica for lunch. Like, oh my God, shortness of breath is a bitch, people. But it's like, it's nothing normal. I don't know why I'm still shocked by it. So after LA, I get back after being in LA for like 8 days, and then I'm in Edmonton for like 2 days, and I'm like, fuck this shit. So I go to Calgary for like 10 days, and then I go from Calgary to camp in Red Deer for 5 days, and then I go back to Edmonton, spend like 4 days there, and then I have to go back to Calgary for like 5 days to do something with my family, and then I go back up to Edmonton, and then 2 days later I have to go back down to Red Deer for a boob job consult. That was like July something. Or no, that would have been like beginning of August. So it's just been like chaotic. And then August, I got a job. And that's been eating up a shitload of my time. And I feel kind of bad, but also like, gotta make all that money that YouTube's not paying me. But like working at a liquor store, that is so on brand. Like, that is quintessential Ella Grant, you guys. I love Calgary. I don't know why you're saying it's always a sad story. I love Calgary. I think, honestly, I'm beginning to think the only reason I like Calgary so much is because it's not Edmonton. That's my theory. I'm just like, do. And I don't want to, I'm still going to try to figure out, like, what about, because it's like, how do I say it? Usually what takes up the bulk of my time in making videos is editing. I'll spend like 2 weeks editing a video. But editing can be broken up over a couple of weeks. So when it comes to like between work and stuff like that, if I'm working, 8 hours a day, I can edit for 2 hours one day or an hour after work the next day. Editing can be broken up, but for filming, you can't really break it up, and that takes several hours. So trying to book off several hours at once, if your schedule is already like complete chaos, is insane. It's just like utter chaos. Fix your lighting. You look like an albino version of Matt Smith. No, I don't have any makeup on and overexposure. It makes my disgusting yellow smoker teeth look really white. And it like washes out all my freckles, which is what I need. Are you going to university? Eventually. Post-snip, probably. Now that we can see your whole face, you look more like a mom. Really? What do you mean now that, because like, is it like because I don't have bangs anymore? I haven't had bangs in like a year though. Also, like, the main kicker is my mom's brunette. If you've ever seen me with brown hair, I look a lot more like her. That's the other thing is, like, my hair is getting so fried because I've straightened it every day for so long. My ends are just, like, they look like they got caught in, like, a toaster oven or something. They're just, like, so fried. So I'm like, I don't want to cut them off, but like, I also don't want to stop straightening my hair. So it's just like, okay. Let me tell you a story of the time that I dyed it too much. Okay, so basically when I was in like grade 9, I dyed it a whole bunch. Like, it wasn't the dye that did my hair in, it was the bleach. So what it was like, okay, so we bleach it, dye it blue, and then we dye it green, and then we dye it purple, and then we dye it black. But we didn't do the black at a salon. We used like box dye. And if you know anything about hair dye, you know that black box dye, like, you know, black box dye is damn near impossible to get out. It is like Sharpie marker. Like, you can't paint over Sharpie marker because it'll bleed through. You can't get rid of black box dye. So after like a couple of months of having black hair, I get kind of bored of it. And I'm like, I'm going to be Marilyn Monroe blonde. And naturally my hairdresser was like, no, that is not happening. So we decide what we're going to do is bleach it gradually over the course of a few months. And this must have been like September 2015. So by the time like January rolls around, we basically bleached it to be at the level that my natural hair color is. And by the time it gets to that point, my hair's so freaking fried. Like, my hairdresser was like, okay, if I bleach this hair to platinum blonde, it is going to fall out. Like, it is, like, you could snap it, like, between your fingers. So what I did was, like, I would condition the ends, like, every single day, you know, just to keep it attached to my head. And it worked. My hair, like, got a bit healthier. And as it grew out, because it was, like, all the same color, you could see, like, the line of healthy hair that, like, wasn't covered in, like, split ends and shit moved down as my hair grew. And then you could see, like, the fried hair. But then one day my hair stopped growing and the line started creeping back up. Because, like, my hair was all split ends and they just kept splitting all the way up. But by the end, I could, like, pull out, like, 6 months later, I could pull out tufts of my hair. Like, I would go like this and it would just, like, start raining hair. It was so damn embarrassing. And actually, I remember what I did was, like, I would, put, like, my hair in, like, double Dutch braids just so my hair wouldn't, like, fall out on my clothes. And someone was like, that's cultural appropriation. And I'm like, excuse you, my hair is falling out of my head. Like, so what we did was, like, when grade 10 was almost, we cut it super short or not like super, we cut it to, my entire hair was about that length. And I wore wigs for a year while it grew back. So I'm contemplating doing that again. I want to buy, like, a couple of wigs that I can just wear, and leave my hair natural underneath, not to, like, cut it short and let it grow again. Just to, like, leave it naturally curly. You know, don't shampoo it as often. Don't fry it so much. Just kind of leave it under there, you know? And that's, like, okay, the main part of that is, I don't know how or why this happens, but at least once a year, I get the irresistible urge to do something drastic to my hair. Last year, it was getting bangs. But historically, it's been to dye my hair blonde. I have always wanted to dye my hair blonde. But just because of how fried my ends are now, if I bleached it, it would be like, it wouldn't be pretty. If my hair was a bit if my ends were, like, a bit healthier, I'd probably be able to get away with bleaching it once. But, like, I don't want my hair to fall out again. I'm kind of over it. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to get a couple of wigs, one of which is probably going to be blonde. I'm probably going to get one that's, like, this color. And then what I'll do is I'll wear it, like, a couple inches back and leave, like, my bangs out so it looks a bit more natural. I might also get, like, a long black one. Like, you guys, you've probably seen, like, pictures of Ella with black hair, but, like, Ella with long black hair is, like, I would look so aesthetic. I would look like the chick from Evanescence or something. If you use Olaplex or coconut oil, we used Olaplex and it worked the first time, but, like, by the end of it, my hair was, like, gone. It was, like, it was a traumatic experience. Like, okay, Photoshop hasn't been working on my computer for some reason. So I downloaded an app on my phone just to fart around and, like, try to color my hair, because you can do that, in this app. And that's, like, I'm really good at using Photoshop, but this is all I've got. So my editing's not so great, but like, eh. What was that? Okay, where is black hair Ella? It's gonna be dark Ella. This is light Ella, and this is dark Ella. Okay, that picture's so bad. Okay, here's dark Ella. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see it, but like, is it gonna focus on me? Focus on me. Oh, I sound like London. Oh, thank you, original oregano. Is it gonna focus? Come on. Let's just like, okay. Do 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 do. Okay. Come on. Oh my god. Focus. Oh, wait. There we go. There's dark Ella. And then, but as much as I love dark Ella, blonde Ella is also like really something. Like, I don't know. Why am I so indecisive? Why am I like this? Come on. Focus. Oh, I look wasted in that picture. Oh, there we go. It loaded. Look at that double chin. I'm getting fat. It's like, I kind of want to do it. Because, like, I don't know. Here's some quality advice from Ella Grant. Pro tip, if you don't like yourself, just become someone else. I don't know. I just don't want to do something irreversible. That's like why I want to get like a bunch of wigs when I have the money and then like, you know, kind of play around, if that makes sense. If I really like how I look with black hair, I would dye my hair black. But I just don't want to dye it black, hate how it looks, and then be stuck with black hair. Go full redhead to be Ginger Chap Queen. I'm kind of already stuck with that. You should try dark brown. I'm like, I don't look great as a brunette. Or like, I look really good with like off black hair. When I dyed my hair black, we dyed it super black. Like it was like blue black and it was too black. But as it like began to fade, it did look really good. But let me see if I can find a picture of me as a brunette. Actually, for that matter, I might be able to find some pictures of me as a blonde. Because I had like, a lot of the wigs I had were different colors. Oh my god, I was huge in these pictures. Fuck. Here's me as a brunette. I was in like grade 11 here. It is still not focusing. Give it a minute. We all went through a Snapchat dog filter phase. Like every teenage girl in North America has at one point gone through it. Oh, there we go, it's focusing. But like I must have been like, yeah, no, I would have been like 16. Early Blair White with curls. Oh no. I don't want to copy anyone. Because apparently someone owns side parts in denim jackets, but I'm not going to talk about that. I don't want to throw any more shade because, like, as pissed as I am about the whole situation, a lot of it was just like, okay, I don't know, that I was just like, I was in such a mood, like, as everything was happening. And here's the thing, you say shit you don't mean when you're autistic, and you say shit you don't mean when you're a literal teenager. So if you overlap those two, you say a lot of really dumb shit. And I said a lot of dumb shit. And I regret it deeply. However, when you say a lot of things in the heat of the moment, and this is even something that, like, they were talking about, like, oh, we could talk about things I said and didn't mean in the heat of the moment. It was exactly like that. So I do feel really bad, and I hope at some point the situation will improve, because I hate holding grudges against people. No, I'm not telling you. I won't, like, go into too much detail because, like I said, I don't want to make things any worse. But I will say that much. It's old stuff. It's old drama. Exactly, and you say stuff you don't mean when you're angry, and you take cheap shots at people as if you're like a literal catty teenage girl. And like I said, I mean, that was stupid and really rude to say, but, well, there aren't any buts. It was something dumb, but at the same time, it's just like, the whole damn thing was just so bizarre. It was just a weird situation. Exactly. You say shit you don't mean. Or you do mean it when you say it, but you don't know that you don't mean it. If that makes sense. It's just like, it's a bit of a blessing and a curse, because I can say really outrageous, weird shit under the guise that it's true, if that makes sense. So, like, for example, if you're acting as a character or something and you say something really deadpan, like, I like to drink mercury because it keeps me docile. That's always come really naturally to me, because I can say it as if I mean it. Because in that moment, when you're trying to put out a character, you do mean it. But the lines are blurred. And you say things you don't mean, but you say them like you mean them. If that makes sense. And that's like a lot of people, London included. When I was in LA, me and London had a huge fight because I said, like, a joke. I said, like, oh, you look like Freddie Mercury. But I said it in a way that didn't come off as, like, a joke. It came off as if I was being serious, and that was like a disaster, if that makes sense. So it was like, I didn't mean it as an insult, but I can totally see how it could have come across as an insult based on how I said it, if that makes sense. And it's not, I don't want to say like it's not my responsibility, but it's also not my fault. And it's something, I've been trying to work on for the last, like, 18 years. So you can only give me so much credit. But that is an autism thing. And a teenager thing. It's just like, Exactly. You say something you think you mean, but you don't actually mean it. But, like, I feel like it's kind of a bit of a just desserts situation, because I was pissed off under the guise of someone taking cheap shots at a friend of mine. And then I wound up being the one taking cheap shots because I was being defensive of something I thought wasn't right. And I still don't think it was. But that doesn't make what I said right. Right? It just happens, you know? It sucks, but we all say some things we regret. And that's the worst part is, like, a lot of people go really ham on me because they think that I'm a genuine grown-up adult woman who's just a hateful, spiteful, bitter creature on the internet. But they don't know the full story. They don't have a fucking clue that literally 2 months ago I was in grade school. You know? So, I don't know. But like, just flashing back to that night with London, we were in our rental apartment in downtown LA this was a couple days after VidCon, and I was supposed to go to this party in Anaheim. But like the Uber from downtown LA to Orange County would be like $60, Canadian. So me and London were gonna go together and each pay for one way. And then, how was I gonna say it? We didn't get the address for, like, they were really delayed in giving us the address. People like, hi, I think I'm real and Bundy King were like not answering any of my texts, and me and London were waiting for like an hour for them to give us the fucking address. And then London was like, okay, I'm tapping out. I'm gonna go to bed. But I'm still like, you know, hair extensions on, high heels on, getting like, I'm ready to go out the door. And then they're finally like, oh, we got the address. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. And then London, I walk into the bedroom to like put on my shoes, and London is sitting on the bed going like this. And like, as soon as I walk into the room, I'm like, oh shit. And the rest of that night was a train wreck. But like, London just kind of raged at me because she thought I was just like being a bitch for no apparent reason. And then after, okay, so like, I was just like, she was like, why would you say that to me? Why would you do that? And I'm like, what did I say? And then she was like, that's when she lost it. Cause she thought I just like didn't care enough. And she thought it was deliberate. But then after the fact, and I was like, I had no idea. She was like, oh my God, I totally forgot. And then she felt really bad. And then I felt really bad that she felt really bad. But you have to prepare for that sort of situation. If that makes sense. No, Celtic Girl, it's not about London. This is just a particular event that points to the same principle. But that was like a particular night in LA where me and London got into this huge fight because of something I said that I didn't mean, that she didn't know that I didn't mean. You know? Is Real more handsome in person? Yes, he is, but he's kind of short. He's not that short. He's like 5'11", but at the same time, like, cause we've been talking for a few months and I'm like, how tall are you? And he's like, oh, I'm like 6'2". And I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, how tall are you? And I'm like 5'8". And he's like, oh yeah, my girlfriend's 5'8". So like, I know how tall you are. And then we meet each other in person. And the first thing each of us say is like, he was like, you're taller than I thought you'd be. And I'm like, you're shorter than I thought you'd be. And he's like, my girlfriend says she's 5'8" and you're like 2 inches taller. And I'm like, has she ever gotten her height measured? Because if she's like, and then I'm like, well, how tall is she then? And he's like, oh, she's probably like around London's height. And I'm like, dude, London's 5'6". So we kind of like hash it out that he was like 5'11" and a bit. There's like, okay, a lot of YouTubers are really short in person. Jeff and Memory Holiday are both super, super short. That's not true. Jeff's probably like 5'6" or 5'7". No, he's probably like 5'5", 5'6". 5'6". Memory is like 5'2". Barbara for you to see is like 5'3". She's so tiny. And then some black guy is like 5'4". Chris Ray Gun is like 5'4". I didn't meet Lacey. She Won't Head is like, she's pretty tiny too, but she's not as tiny as you think she'd be. Skeptic, on the other hand, is fucking enormous. Well, yeah, and that's the other part of it. It's like most of the trip in LA I was wearing heels. So obviously I would like dwarf everyone I was around. Ben from like Drunken Peasants, same thing. He's like 5'6". And he was like, oh, I had no idea you were trans. Like, I've seen your videos and I had no idea. But like, the only giveaway is you're really tall. And I'm like, dude, I'm in like 5-inch heels right now. And he's like, oh yeah. He's, okay, him and Jeff Holiday were like hardcore. I think they were hardcore hitting on me in London. In LA. Because like, we went to a couple of house parties, and then later on when Jeff was like, wait, how old are you again? He's like, oh yeah, no, you're too young. Never mind. You're pretty though. Memory is gorgeous though. And she doesn't wear any makeup. She just has like kick-ass natural eyebrows. Like, she's stunning. Like, how? She Won't Head too. Like, she's almost like, she's 28 or, yeah, no, she just turned 28. So she's like inching closer and closer to 30, but she looks like 15. And I'm just like, what's, who else? Bunty is a giant. He's like, I think he's like 6'4". He's huge. Huge. No, Bunty is like giant. Who else? Who else did I meet? Conspiracy theory, I don't think Blair's actually 5'5". I think she's 5'6". Even like Joey is giant in person. Who else? I'm just trying to think of like who else I met in person and shit. Jacqueline I met in person very briefly. She's like, everybody says that she's so tall, but I'm just like, she was shorter than me when I was in heels. But I'm pretty sure if I wasn't in heels, she'd be like 1.5 inches taller than me. So like, but she's not that tall though. Like she really isn't. Oh, ContraPoints is a bit taller than me, but she's probably like 5'11", 6 even. But she, okay, Contra in person is so pretty. She's like a fucking ballerina. Like, she looks like a ballerina. Like, how? She's gorgeous. We went out for dinner, me, London, and ContraPoints when we were in Anaheim. It was pretty. We went to the Cheesecake Factory. Actually, we ran into Lindsay Ellis at the Cheesecake Factory, and she took a Polaroid of me, Contra, in London. It's in my purse right now. It lives in my wallet. Let me find it. Okay. Now, just knowing my luck, this is going to take forever to focus. Come on. There we go. So it was like, that was a bop. Have you met TJ? TJ, who? Whomst? I'm just trying to think of like who else I met in LA. I met Vincent Sear, of Edwin and Dasha fame. He's my height. I met Mundane Matt, but I don't remember how tall he was. Because I mostly remember him, like, sitting down. At the party that me and London had, Aurora, who was in my last video, she's, like... Once again, like, I'm way taller than her, but I was in heels the whole night. So, like, she's probably, like, 5'4". Vincent's actually so nice in person. Like, he's... Okay. And don't tell me that he does not have kick-ass fashion, because he has the most kick-ass wardrobe I think I've ever seen. Like, he was turning looks the whole damn night. It was, like, awesome. No, I know about Sear and Dasha, but he's a nice guy. He's nice to me. No, he's a lot like me, actually. It's kind of weird. You know, his wardrobe is like fucking incredible. Come on, Covfefe. Do you like Shane, Ellie? Yes, I do. It's like, I'm just trying to think of, like, who else I all met in LA. Ah, shit, those are, like, the major players I met. I think that's it. I'm saying that like that's like no one, but I did meet a lot of people. I don't know. It's like, it was good. This was at VidCon when I was in LA in June. I'm actually setting up, I actually already have a Patreon, but the snip is covered in Canada. But what isn't covered is FFS. So I have no idea how I'm going to afford that. Because it's like, okay, here's the story of Canadian healthcare wait times. Okay. So, okay. Basically, sorry, I've just like, my hair is like so curly. I've got to brush it as it dries so it doesn't turn out like so frizzy. Because I'm going to straighten it later because I have something I need to do later tonight. So I do have a Patreon. So basically how do I say it? For a long time, I was so freaked out that the wait time for the snip was 2 years, at least, between like 24 and 36 months, which is insane, but I'm not shocked. And the other thing is you have to be 18 to even be able to apply for it. And then you have to wait like 6 months for processing, and then you have to wait like 24 months for the actual surgery. So I was kind of like, well, I'm fucked. Because here's the thing, though. It's not like 2 years. Well, it would be 2 years from now. But keeping in mind that I literally came out when I was like 12, 13. You can't imagine it as just being 2 years. You have to keep in mind that by this point, I would have already been waiting for 6. So that's like damn near a decade waiting for this surgery. So I'm just like, well, I'm fucked. But then me and my mom decided to like make a plan, and we're like, okay, so I'm going to work my ass off because I want to get my FFS done at the same time as surgery. once again, like nothing major, nothing, it'll be expensive, but it won't be like $50,000 or whatever. So I'm just like, okay, I want to get this done at the same time as surgery. I want to like get everything just out of the way at once. You know, I don't want to have to take twice as long off of work to prepare for like 2 different surgeries. So that was like the plan. And we thought that I would have 2 years to work, to save up like every single penny for this surgery. Cause you know, the SNP is covered, but FFS isn't. So we were thinking like, okay, I'm going to need this money by the time I go in for surgery to be able to pay for it, to have it done at the same time. And then, okay, so this was always like my fear was that the wait time would be 2 years for like the last several years. But a couple of months ago, my mom got in touch with someone from the government, or no, someone from the government straight up emailed my mom and said, oh, looks like someone's turning 18 this month. I'm talking about me. And this is the registry that accepts the applications for the SNP. So that's when my mom was like, oh, Ella, they know that you're going to apply for this because we've already tried to once before to see if we can get it on the list earlier. And that application got rejected. So we were just like, okay, so they're waiting for my application. So that might make it go by a bit faster. And we're like, oh, that's good. So how do I say it? A couple weeks after that, my mom gets in touch with someone from the government, and they say that the waiting list isn't 24 months, it's 6 to 8. And me and my mom are just kind of like, oh, that's great, but wait a minute, how the fuck am I supposed to make enough money for surgery if I suddenly only have 25% of the time that I thought I was going to? So we're just kind of like, well, shit. So I'm, So now I'm just kind of like, okay, somehow I need to come up with, you know, between $11,000 and $20,000 in 25% of the time that I thought I was going to, which is great and all. I mean, I would much rather wait 6 months than 24. Like, I wouldn't last 24 months. I would jump off a bridge long before then. But it's just like, I was just like, okay, how the fuck am I going to go through 24 months? Like, no antidepressants, no nothing. And then I'm just kind of like, you know what? I can drink my way through 6 to 8 months. This will be okay. And then I'm just kind of like, well, shit. So that's why I've got the job now. So I'm basically going to be working like hell between now and then. We're probably going to end up having to take out a loan. Because I'm guessing I'm probably going to have like, oh God, I'm probably going to have like between 8 and 11,000 saved up. Or no, I'm probably going to have between like 6 and 10,000 saved up by the time I actually go to Montreal for surgery. But depending on how much, I'm going to try to book a consult with a surgeon in advance so I know how much I'm going to have to save up for. And then we're probably going to have to take out a bank loan to pay for the rest of the surgery. On the bright side, though, I literally have another consultation for top surgery tomorrow. Hello, Ella. I'm planning on coming out to my friends tomorrow as MTF. Oh, congratulations! Honestly, I would just sort of emphasize that I was a pretty feminine guy, so none of my friends were shocked when I came out. So I'm just trying to think, but I did have to come out to my parents who were a bit shocked at first. So I'm just trying to think, number one, I would emphasize it is a medical thing, not your choice and not their fault, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. It's like, it's weird because it's shocking news, but at the same time, anybody who knows you well enough probably won't be surprised at all. And it's like, yeah, get the surgeries done at the same time, just because it's like, I'm just thinking, because like, I work in a liquor store, right? I work at the register. So obviously I'm going to be bedridden after the snip for a few weeks. Or I'm not going to be bedridden, but I'm going to be wanting to like, you know, stay at home and shit. Because there is a lot of standing and walking involved working at a liquor store. So you're not going to want to do that. So it's like, same thing for FFS. Obviously, I would be able to work pretty quickly after. Like, I'd be able to still do my job, but I would look like black and blue. And I might just scare away the customers, just like, bye! Just like come into the store and you'll leave looking like my face. So I'm probably going to have to take off like a month of work. If I had the surgeries done separately, I would wind up taking a month off to recover from bottom surgery before I'm able to like sit and walk and do all that shit. Same thing for like getting my face done. I'd need to wait like at least 2.5 weeks for like all the swelling to go down, all the bruising to go away. But if you get them done at the same time, I only need to take off 1 month instead of 2. If that makes sense. And ideally, I would have my tits done at the same time, but I probably won't. So I'm probably going to actually have my tits done first. Because like I said, I literally have a top surgery consult tomorrow. I'm going to try to video that. I'm going to try to get this consult on tape. And then, yeah. And it's like, okay, the thing with FFS is I wouldn't want to get a big change, but there's a few things that I'm like super self-conscious about. Number one, so a lot of you probably know this. No doctor would allow multiple surgeries. That's murder. No, it's fine. They do it at the same time. I'll be fine. And besides, okay, who wants to spend, okay, I'm just thinking, so I would probably be dedicating like 3 solid months of my life just to recovering from surgery if I had them done separately. But if I get them done together, I'll only be dedicating 3 weeks. Same thing with like getting my boobs done. I'm already going to have to take off like a week. I'm already going to have to take off like two weeks probably. So 2 weeks plus 2 months, that's a lot of time off work. And I've got I've got like tuition I have to pay for it because I'm not in university yet, but I need to save enough for it. And I don't want to I don't want to have to straight up like quit my job just so I can get the surgeries I need to function. So the only practical solution is to have them done at the same time. But the end result of FFS is it's like, my main thing is, so men's eyebrows are lower than women's and their hairline is higher. So these are like my eyebrows at rest and it doesn't look that crazy, but I hate how it looks from the side because like women's foreheads don't do that. So my solution was like, I would always like be raising my eyebrows like 24/7. But the end result of that is if I raise my eyebrows anymore, I get like a whole bunch of wrinkles. And that just sort of happens, you know, as you're like doing facial expressions and shit. But the end result is that I've gotten so many wrinkles on my forehead. My forehead has, in doing this for like 3 years, I've aged my forehead like 15. Like in person, it's all wrinkles. It's so bad. So I want to get my brows lifted up just so I don't make it any worse. Because that is something super self-conscious because the more I do it, the more I have to raise my eyebrows because the less effective it gets. And and also get like the bone redone. I'm probably going to get my nose done. And then I would want to get my jaw done, but that might be something I have done on its own. Just because like that surgery is going to cost a fortune in itself. I don't know how much jaw surgery costs on its own. No, that's probably like $10,000 on its own. So if I can't scramble together the cash to have it done at the same time, that'll be done later on. That's what I mean. Even if you do super simple stuff, any use of anesthesia can cause death. Yeah, but like, so what would be safer then? Taking the chance and getting anesthesia done once, or doing it 3 times? If it is as risky as you're making it seem, I would rather only have to put up with it once, versus increase my odds by having to do it 3 times. And I've had surgery before. I've never had a bad reaction to anesthetic. It's like, yeah, I don't hate my jaw now, but I've put on like 25 pounds this year, so now it definitely looks a bit rounder, but I know as soon as I lose all that weight, as soon as I lose all that weight, that's what happens. Sometimes one of my eyebrows just like totally gives out in the middle of raising both of them, and I'm like, come on, get back up there. It's like, but whenever I do that, it's like, that's the one thing I don't miss about being like 120 pounds is my face looked so square because of it. If that makes sense. Like, I think my face looks better with a bit more meat on it, if that makes sense. But it's like, and then that's the same thing with my nose. It's like, there's nothing, my nose isn't like awful. I just think it's pretty crooked. Same thing with my jaw. Like, I used to have braces, so it fucked up the alignment of my jaw. So like my mouth goes like this, like it's bent like this now. So if I get a nose job, my nose keeps going straight, so I'd want to balance it out just a bit by bending it the other way. But that's the end result. Literally would be I would look the same from the front, but different from the side. If that makes sense. Nothing crazy. I'm not gonna look like a different person. As much as I want to sometimes, it's like when I have the money, that's what I'm probably gonna do. I'm gonna buy a wig and I'm gonna buy some colored contacts. Actually, it won't take that much longer because they'll have, each surgery has like a dedicated surgeon, if that makes sense. So there's a surgeon in Montreal who does the bottom surgery, and they also have like a team of surgeons who specialize in facial surgery. So they'll be done at the same time. If that makes sense. They won't be like, it won't be like him doing one thing and then scuttling towards the other end of the corpse, or scuttling like to the other end of the OR to do my face, 3 hours after starting. It would be literally done at the same time. It seems like most MTFs are profile more than anything else. Yeah, it's like, my profile's not terrible. I just don't like it. Did you just call yourself a corpse already? Yeah, because I'm dead inside. That's like, corpse is my nickname for my liver. That sounds like a heavy metal band, like Ella and the Corpses. it's like, I haven't heard anything bad about Brassard's FFS though. Like, can you tell me more? I just know it's going to cost me like way more to have it done by someone else separately. I just want it to be over and done with. Like, honestly. Won't the hormones take care of the top of that? Well, I've been on hormones for 3 years now. My tits aren't anything special. Actually, the boob job, because here's the thing. I only grew one boob. And it's actually so crazy. Okay, so here's the story. So in Alberta, top surgery for male to female isn't covered. For female to male, like getting your tits taken off is covered. But having tits created isn't covered, but it is in like other provinces. However, okay, there's a silver lining. It's just like all fetuses start off as female, right? And what happens is sometimes there will be like some sort of genetic deformity that causes one tit basically to lack the genetic coding to grow a boob when exposed to estrogen. But here's the thing. Like, let's say that affects 2% of women. It would also affect 2% of men because that coding comes before a baby becomes male or female. But the thing is, only women would really notice it because, like, they grow tits naturally. So, you know, they would go through puberty and they'd be like, only one boob is growing. But most guys who have it, even though there would be the same amount of men who have it as women, it's like most men wouldn't notice it because they would never go on estrogen. But I fucking did. So, like, what are the odds, right? Like, think about it. Like, let's say if that affects 1% of men and 1% of women. 99.9% of the men who have it would never know. So it's just like, a horrible coincidence. However, in Alberta, top surgery for women who have this condition is covered. So I'm talking about like males in general. So I get my tits for free because I only grew one, not because I'm trans. So it's just like, but it is kind of a silver lining, right? Like, it is bad luck, but I mean, so I'd rather have one tit and then get my tits done for free than have two tiny tits and not be able to get anything. Like, if you had your nose bent to align with your jaw, wouldn't that just make it more noticeable? No, because I'd also be getting my jaw done. So, I've got a surgical consult tomorrow for that. Are you getting bigger boobs or just trying to get the other one the same size as the other? Oh no, if I'm like, well, it depends on what's covered. So we're gonna talk about that tomorrow. But if getting 2 implants is covered, oh honey, I am gonna get like giant porn star tits. This is gonna be a bop. I'm gonna like, yeah, no, I ain't gonna get like giant porn star tits. also want to get my knees done so I can be 5'5". I fucking wish. May I offer your hand at marriage now? No. That sounded so bitchy. I'm sorry. How tall are you? I'm 5'8". You know, I'm gonna like, cause the way they do implants for like reconstructive purposes, or not reconstructive, but constructive purposes, because it's not like being reconstructed, it's being constructed, like from nothing. So the way they do breast implants for like constructive purposes or reconstructive purposes is meant to look more real than just normal run-of-the-mill cosmetic implants. So I'm going to try to get like the more constructive treatment so they look more natural and not like chick with small tits who got implants. Well, it's not like a different type of implants, but there's like surgical techniques. Actually, no, there is a special type of implant. Have you ever heard of like the teardrop implants or like the shaped implants? So basically implants, usually like the most typical ones are like a straight circle. They're like, and from the side too, they're like a literal semicircle. And you can usually see, if there's nothing there to cover them, you can see like the line all the way around, and they just look like, they look like fake tits. And I don't want to be the girl with fake looking tits. But these shaped implants are like, they're more triangular shaped. So there's no line, and the way they don't like go boop, they go like, they slope down like a tit does. So I would get those. They just don't look like fake tits. So I'd be getting those. Do you have any tips for passing and start making yourself look more feminine? If you have like short hair, what I would do is get it cut into like a short women's haircut as you grow it out. Just because like the way men's hair is cut, it's usually really square on the back, you know, it's like, but I would cut it into like a shorter, more feminine haircut. You might think it sounds like a bit of a soccer mom haircut or something, but it will help you, pass. It's a small difference. But it will like make you look more like a chick who has short hair than a guy with long hair. Because hair doesn't grow out too quickly. So growing out a short women's haircut will look more feminine than growing out a guy's haircut. I would also practice like hairstyling as your hair gets longer. So like learn to French braid, learn to use a curling iron, learn to use a straightening iron. Also practice with makeup, and don't go too crazy right off the bat. That usually just winds up drawing more attention to you. Learn what makeup is more flattering. I want to do a video that's like how to look less like a man and make it like a makeup tutorial. Bangs, like the blunt sort of like Zooey Deschanel or Katy Perry bangs, help a lot in terms of helping you pass. And then there's just like a wardrobe changes. It's just practice, really. Practice makes it perfect. I think those implants cost more. They do cost more, but I'm not paying a single cent. So that's like, how did you grow your YouTube channel? Ask Shoe on Head. Water makes you fat. Vodka keeps you thin. Yeah, no, tax dollars put to good use, but it's like, it's just like, what are the odds? But yeah, no, facial surgery wise, I would not be getting very much done. Or I would be getting a lot done, but it wouldn't be, it would be noticeable, but it would not be crazy. The end result would be that I look pretty much the same. So like, waste of money, maybe. But it'll help. Yeah, no, I might do like an Instagram live stream or something. Once tomorrow's out of the way. I'm hopefully of just like, I'm hoping that I can videotape it. But yeah, no, I'm gonna get like, oh, shortness of breath is a bitch. Just gonna like, it's probably so sketchy, just, but like, no. I'm not stressed about tomorrow. It's like, I'm excited. Are you still interested in vintage items? Yeah, I am, but it's like, yes, queen. But it's like, oh, that's the other thing, is like that style of implants, like the shaped implants, is what they usually use for women who've had like, who've lost one boob, because of breast cancer. And the reason they do that is because if they just do like the normal implant for one boob and then have a real boob on the other side, one will look like a real boob and the other will look like a fake boob. But if they use like the shaped implants, they'll look more identical, if that makes sense. Why do you have shortness of breath? I don't know. I kind of always have. I should probably quit smoking. That's probably why. I don't know. That's like rule number one of being a woman is if you don't know what to say in a situation, just bat your eyelashes. It's like, no, growing out this is the longest my hair has ever been. Growing out your hair is such a pain. Cause it's like, my hair 2 inches shorter than this when it fell, if that makes sense. So this is the longest it's ever been. And it's like, it doesn't look like that long, but the back is a lot longer. It's just like, cause I've got shorter layers in the front. It's like, let's just like, just out. It's like, from the front, it's like, it looks really, really short. But the back is like, and once again, it's not straightened. And it looks, oh, this looks so bad. But when it is straightened, it goes down to like, it's like bra strap length. Like, look at this, like, look at this length difference, like curled, straightened. I have extensions somewhere. I sometimes wear extensions. I have never been to Germany. I've been to Austria. I've flown over Germany. Never been on German soil, though. How did you your voice? I didn't. I just transitioned when I was young. I'm sorry I keep bombarding you with questions. Don't worry about it. But how do I go about making my voice sound more like a female? Well, okay, there's a couple of ways that you can go about it. Generally, like, I haven't really trained my voice, but it's like, I'm just trying to think. Okay, Theron Meyer and Steph Sinjati have very good voice. They have very good videos, voice training. So I would check those out. Or if voice training doesn't get you where you want to go, there is a surgery that you can get to bring the frequency of your voice up. But that surgery is like the recovery. Like, you can't talk for like 3 months. It is brutal. And then it takes you like 3 more months to get your voice back. Talking like for the first time. And then it like gradually comes back. I don't think that surgery is very expensive though. Or I don't know how much it costs. I think the travel expenses would be a lot though. So that is an option. You would just need to be like, that is like, try. My dog is like, go lick yourself. Have you heard about the Kraut situation? Who? No, I've heard whispers about it, but I've never looked into it too much. Why am I so tired? I literally slept for like 12 hours. Yeah, no, Nihilistic Nachos had that surgery done. She's talking again. I think she started talking like beginning of August, and she had the surgery done at the end of June. Is it 3 weeks or 3 months? I think it's 3 weeks. I don't know. Or I didn't sleep for 12 hours straight, you guys. I woke up in the middle of the night, as usual. That's the other thing, is like that okay. So things I've been, is a person with gender dysphoria considered to be trans? I think trans mostly applies to people with gender dysphoria who are or have transitioned. So I think like if you have gender dysphoria, like there's a lot of people who figure out that they have gender dysphoria when they're like 70, but they never transition because of it, you know, either fear that they could like lose their grandchildren or estrange their spouse or something. So they just kind of keep it under wraps because they've already built up a reputation as a husband and a father and a grandfather or something. So a lot of people don't transition for those reasons. I guess you could still consider those people trans. But it really depends. I've never met someone personally who has gender dysphoria but chose not to transition. But I'm sure they exist. I just don't have those connections with people. But I'm pretty sure being trans is like the state of having gender dysphoria. Do you use any medication against autism? That's not a thing. That doesn't exist. I wish it existed. Don't a lot of people grow out of their gender dysphoria? Ha! Nope. Or probably. Probably depends. I mean, I fucking didn't. I don't know. I think Blair talked about it. Yeah, but Blair also transitioned at like 21. there's a lot of benefits to growing up a lot younger, or transitioning a lot younger. There's risks too, you know, like, how do I say it? Going on blockers is safe, but I wouldn't recommend someone go on hormones at like 12 or something. But going on blockers before like the point of no return in terms of puberty, like, helped me a lot. Like, the end result of that is like, you know, my voice never dropped. So this isn't like a trained voice. This is like an actual voice. Like, my voice hasn't dropped at all. Or, you know, like, my hands and feet never got huge. They look huge now, but like, they really aren't. Oh, it's because like my wrist is like there, but like, I'm trying to get like a good angle on them. I'm like, okay, let's like pull up my sleeves so like it's where my, like, for trans standards, my hands are pretty tiny. Like, they're the same size as my mom's, and she's a real biological human woman who's like 5'4". And it's things like that help you a lot. It's so weird. It's like, it should be a case by case thing, I think. It's a weird question for sure. It's like I have no regrets going on blockers young. But a lot of people are skeptical of it, which is justified. I mean, it's a big decision. But I'd much rather put like a teenager on blockers than straight away on hormones. But like, I think it depends on the person. Really? It's weird. Do many not opt for the bottom surgery? I feel like more trans women get bottoms than trans men, because like, okay, female to male or male to female bottom surgery is like 1 3-hour procedure, or not even. I think it's like 2.5 hours now. It's one surgery. You get it done like once, unless like something goes wrong, and then you might need to get a revision, but that's the same for like any surgery. But even then, the revision would probably take like an hour. But it's like one surgery. It's a pretty self-contained procedure. But the female to male surgery is like, it's not just a surgery. It is like a collection of surgeries. So the whole ordeal would take like months to account for healing between surgeries. Like, there's skin grafting and air pumps and like transplants and implants. It's like crazy. It's bananas. So definitely for trans women. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but I'm guessing that more trans women opt for that. Or like, and then there's like varying degrees of bottom surgery for trans men too. It's like a lot of them, I could guess, would probably just get their tubes tied, you know, so they don't get periods and shit. Because that would make just about anyone hella dysphoric. So it's like, if they get like, but lots of cis women do that too. So it's not like, but there's varying degrees of surgery. I don't get why I have to download a separate app. What's wrong with YouTube Live? YouTube isn't monetized. YouNow has free spins. So if you go on YouNow, you can donate bars without having to pay anything. And that translates into actual real world dollars for my broke ass. You know, female to male is like, it's getting there. But also, like, the male to female surgery was invented in like the 1920s. So yeah, I'm thinking of a hysterectomy. And it's like, even if it doesn't like come out 100%, honestly, like I've always said, I just want the damn thing gone. Tucking is a pain. It's annoying. I don't give a shit if it's like something functional. I just want it gone. Like, really, if I had to choose between deadass having nothing there and like, it's pretty obvious I would just like cut the whole damn thing off. Donate yours to FDM. That's not how it works. What are you planning on studying when you go to university? I'm like, okay. It's so weird. So the number one choice for a while is like, I'm planning on doing Vancouver Film School, but it's like, I also really want to study in the States, and we have like a big savings account, to cover tuition, at least for VFS it would. But studying in the States, I'd have to pay international tuition unless I get a scholarship or, student loans from Alberta or something, which is great and all, but film schools in the States are all like, I don't know, VFS is kind of like, I almost want to say like the Harvard law of the film world, or so I've heard. You know, like it would look great on a resume. But at the end of the day, I'd much rather build industry connections because of film school in LA than in Vancouver, which is where I'd like to wind up long term. I don't want to stay in Vancouver any longer than I have to. But it's like, I'm just like, okay. And it also just so happens that a lot of film schools are like just puff degrees, and a lot of them are just kind of a joke. So trying to find a place that's more accredited and respected and not dismissed as like a pay your way into a crappy job sort of thing. Things like a New York Film Academy have pretty polarized reviews, like, oh, this school's great, or, oh, this school's a fucking scam, it's a cash grab, which isn't what I want. So the other thing I've been eyeballing for a long time is real estate. So I'd rather like, I wouldn't mind going somewhere else to study for real estate. Because that's like, people are always going to be buying houses. You know? I feel a sneeze coming on. Oh my god, that's the fucking worst. Wait, hold on, I'm gonna make that a moment. Because that's like, people are always gonna be buying houses. You know? I feel a sneeze coming on. Oh my god, that's the fucking worst. I'm making this a moment. Hold up. Oh my god. I feel a sneeze coming on. Do. I feel a sneeze coming on. How do I go back to the chat? Ah, yes. Okay. Do. See ya. Where are you going? Football. Oh, okay, bye. Real estate. I would just be a realtor. And that's like, I've always had a knack for houses and markets and stuff like that. So I could be a realtor. I would be a pretty kick-ass realtor, I think. So like, video production, it's so weird because like, as much as I've always wanted to do that, I'm just thinking about like what will be an easier job to get somewhere else with. I'm probably going to wind up going to Vancouver Film School and then taking like, because realtor school, it's not like a university thing. It's like courses, like night school. So maybe like I can do those at the same time. Just do night school for real estate when I'm in BC. Because that would be like a great, I don't want to say like degree because it's not technically a degree, but that would be a great sort of certification to have under my sleeve. Because realtors, you can basically make your own schedule, which is something if I'm doing YouTube or video or working another part-time, going to be what I want. Go to North Europe. I don't want to go to Europe. Exactly. That's like the main asset of being a realtor is I wouldn't have to pay someone to make all the videos that you'd need to make. I wouldn't need to pay to film and make my own commercials. I wouldn't need to pay someone else to edit the listing videos. For me, I could do them all myself and keep the cash because I'm good at that. So I could do that. And like I said, that would be something that I can keep under my sleeve for a long time. And I'm also guessing, like, really in freaking Alberta, it will be a lot easier to get a job as a realtor than as a video editor. Excuse me. Than as, like, a freelance videographer or something. Because that's the life of an artist. If I choose that one, I'm going to be broke forever. So it's good to have a plan B that I know I can count on. You know. I'd need a car, though. I'd need to get my driver's license. That's what I probably need to do. Soon. I'm also guessing, like, okay, in Vancouver, like, say if I decide to work as a realtor in Vancouver, Vancouver is a weird place. I've never even been to the city, but I know a lot. I know the tea, honey, about Vancouver. I'm just gonna, like... So it's like, how do I say it? Vancouver is like Canada's San Francisco. It's liberal, it's beachy, overpriced. It's just a weird city. But one of the caveats to living in Vancouver is it is really expensive to drive a car there. The gas in Vancouver is so heavily taxed, and it's also just expensive by default, but it's also like, well, what else is there? It's a lot of the roads there are like toll roads because Vancouver has the worst traffic. Or Vancouver probably has the worst traffic in Canada. Either Vancouver or Toronto. But Vancouver's solution, toll the bejesus out of like every single road in the whole damn city. Not just like the freeways and stuff. I mean just like any major road probably has a toll road at some point. All the bridges, I think, are tolled too in Vancouver. And Vancouver's on like a peninsula, like downtown Vancouver. Vancouver's kind of shaped like a mitten, and the thumb is downtown. Or no, so this is okay. This is like a decent representation. So Vancouver, downtown Vancouver, and then there's a whole bunch of bridges going down in here. And then there's the other part of like the bay, which is all the way like up in here. So there's a whole bunch of bridges like going towards the other side of the water. And then there's another bay like down here, or like there's another river down here. So there's a whole bunch of bridges there. And I'm pretty sure they're all toll roads. So driving my own car, or I'm pretty sure a bunch of them, if they're not toll roads now, they probably will be eventually. How how much does a pack of cigarettes cost in Canada? It depends. The cheapest ones are like, it depends on the province, but I think the cheapest ones in Alberta are like $9.50. And then the most expensive ones are like $18. And then, yeah, I do smoke. But it's like, the thing with, Vancouver is it's like, I'm probably going to wind up just relying on Uber a lot. Because Vancouver also has, like, terrible traffic. But on the bright side, people keep moving to Vancouver. And Vancouver also has, like, a lot of trains and, like, public transit and stuff. But if I were to be a realtor in Alberta, I would almost definitely need a car. Because, like, the cities are really spread out and, like, suburban. But in Vancouver, most people live in apartments. Where it's like, okay, let's look this up. Okay. Why not drive by bike, burning calories? One word. Winter. When it's summer here is only like 4 months. Like it's autumn already. Like our trees are already yellow. And it's already. Do you pronounce the second T in Toronto? It depends. If I'm like, oh, Toronto. Welcome to the modern day metropolis of Greater Toronto. But it's like, I feel like some people would say Toronto. I feel like the older generation would probably say Toronto. Most people say Toronto. My dad says Toronto because he's from Toronto. But the worst part is when people say Tirana. Like Asaurus Rex or something. Or like the Tirana is the name of a carnivorous fish that lives in Lake Ontario. I don't know. Like, yikes. Let's look. Okay, Vancouver toll roads. Okay, so yeah, no, most of like the major freeways going into the city of Vancouver from the suburbs, and like out of the city are like toll roads. Which sucks because here's the thing though, if you're a realtor in Vancouver, the best analogy for Vancouver is LA because like, okay, most cities in Canada are like huge. They're not huge in terms of population, but like they don't have a bunch of smaller cities around it usually. They just have like the city and then maybe a couple of small suburban towns. But like, no, Toronto's not like that. But like Vancouver especially is like a little city immediately surrounded by like a whole bunch of other pretty big cities. Like the suburbs of Vancouver have hundreds of thousands of people each. So how do I say it? Okay. Imagine like San Francisco. If you're a realtor in San Francisco, most of your jobs are going to be in like elsewhere in the area. Because San Francisco is not that big. In Vancouver, a lot of your jobs are going to be for like selling houses out in the burbs. You know? But it's just like LA, you know, if you're a realtor in LA, you're probably going to wind up having a whole bunch of houses in Orange County, you know, that you've got to go to. So in Vancouver, going to and from the suburbs every day, you're going to wind up spending a fortune on the toll roads. I've driven through Vancouver, but I've never like spent extended time in Vancouver. Would you collaborate with Roaming Millennial? Yeah, totally. That's like me and Bunty were joking about because I'm gonna be in Montreal at some point in the winter for the Snip. And I would love to do a collab because Roaming Millennial also lives in Montreal. I would love to do like a collab. He said he wanted to do like a video set in the 50s, so I would love to do a video where like he's all 50s up and I'm like a housewife and Roaming Millennial. We'd have to like, I don't know if she would do this, but like we would like put her in pigtails and shit and she'd be our daughter. Do you know Rummy's real name? Yeah, she changed her Twitter name. It's Lauren. She changed her Twitter name to Lauren Chen. Yeah, see? I know it's not going to focus, but... For some reason, I always thought her name was Emily. She just looks like an Emily. I don't know why, but I always had it in my head her name was Emily. But she's so sweet. It's the lighting. The lighting's like, it's a pretty harsh light straight in front of me, so it's casting a big shadow from my nose, like just on my face. Have you been to England? I have. I was there in 2009. Is there a word for the male version of a trap? I don't think that's a thing. Oh wow, Burt Reynolds just died. It's a shame. That's my favorite shot. Or no, my favorite shot is Southern Comfort. I could drink that shit with a straw. And I do. I don't think she looks like a Maria. She's not Latina. It's like... No, next video, I'm going to try to film a video either like late tonight or something, maybe tomorrow. Okay, I've been getting Instagram ads like non-stop for this really weird game called Game of Sultans. And these ads are the weirdest fucking thing I think I've ever seen. They are just like so bizarre. Like, let me see if I can find one. Because at least one shows up. Like, every time I open Instagram, like a new one shows up. And every time it's weirder than the one before. It's like, if I scroll enough through Instagram, I'm probably going to find one. Where is it? Game of Sultans. Is this like, oh my god, this is like the one time there isn't one. Come on, Game of Sultans, give me a weird ad. Real talk though, they are like the weirdest fucking thing. I have like a whole bunch bookmarked on Instagram too, which is good. But anyways, I've been getting so many ads for Game of Sultans. And each one is weirder than the one before it. So let's find it. Saved collections, Sultans. So this is like, okay. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it. So, okay. Basically, okay, so I think the plot of this game is trying to have, like, the most attractive children or something. It's so bizarre. Okay, so I'm just trying to find, like... Here's this one. Here's an ad. Congratulations, you have made an ugly princess. I'm sorry, like, what? Oh, shit. No, go back. What are the rest of this ads? Princess, please marry me in the future. Like, look at this. Okay, level up from a reasonable little girl. And then look what they put for, like, failed. Like, that's what they consider an ugly princess in this game. It's like the weirdest fucking thing. Or here we go. Okay. So here's one of the ads. So here's an example of a win. Or no, I want to zoom in on the other couple. So hot dad, hot wife, and a gorgeous daughter. And then it's called Importance of Genes. It literally sounds like some alt-right propaganda or something. But like, look at this. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, oh my God. Okay. I'm just gonna like zoom in on this and then bring the camera back. Because you guys, okay. So this is like their ugly princess. Like, wait for it to load. Okay. Or come on, focus. Oh my God. Just load. Hello? Hello? It'll focus eventually. Come on. Come on. Oh. Oh my God, okay. Do I have to like, maybe I just have to block out like the entire. Oh my, why isn't it working? Okay, do you know what? I'm going to try this one more time. I'm going to open up Photo Booth. Maybe I can get it to work. Oh, there we go. So here's their ugly princess. And then there's her mother. So her mother's okay. And then here's their ugly father. Look at him. And the worst part is, like, you could totally tell, like, they just took one of the hot guys and, like, warped his face in Photoshop. Like, he's made of fucking plasticine or something. And just made him go, like, ah! It's like the whole ad is just so... And they're all like that. They're all so fucking weird. So... I'm gonna make a video on that. Because it's like... I don't know... I hope the game isn't that weird. But I've been thinking, like... What the fuck? And the worst part is... Okay, it's like, the ads get even weirder. It's like, oh, create your harem and tend to your consorts. And I'm just like... What? It's like, it's a game designed for incels, I think. Like... It's so weird. Okay, I think I'm gonna call the stream here, you guys, just because, like, I think I need a nap. And I'm like, help me, I'm dying. Oh, fuck, I'm so brain dead right now. It's not even funny, you guys. I'll talk to you guys around. And I'm probably gonna film that, like, tonight or tomorrow. Because it is... Why are you targeted with that game? Okay, so my theory is I got that ad, like, just by chance. And then I was like, what the hell? And I bookmarked it. And that's, like, engagement on Instagram. So they're like, oh, this person liked this ad. Let's show them more. And I'm like, thanks. It's just, like, the weirdest shit I think I've ever seen. So I'm going to make a video on that. And I'll see you guys later.